What's up, Flannelverse? Welcome to All Dogs weekly show on Tuesdays, where we are trying to get to the Dawg Bowl on Underdog. It's in Kansas City this year, and I do the show every week with Mathology, who placed sixth in the Dawg Bowl last year. Really tough to even qualify for the Dawg Bowl, much less get to the top of the leaderboard. So Math is one of the bigger experts you can find on the subject. We're here with another expert on the subject, another Underdog grinder today. Dark Sheep is going to join us to talk. He placed third place last year in the Dawg Bowl, so excited to talk with Math, with Dark Sheep as well. Of course, if you want to get as good as you can possibly get at Underdog games, two things I'd recommend. First, of course, listen to Mathology every single week. He is a grinder. He crushes these games. Second, though, check out the Underdog Masterclass course. We'll talk about that as we go, but that's a course put out by Pete Overzet and the Badge Bros. If you use promo code MATH, you can get 10% off the Underdog Masterclass, or just use the link in the description of this video. Check that out when you have a moment. Highly recommend it. We're going to get into it after I run little intro here. We'll be back in a minute. This is Mondays with Math.
Oh, let's go!
I'm calling it Mathology.
Mathology, without any further ado.
Look, he's got his outfit on.
We are back with another week of Mondays with Math.
He had the best team in the regular season in Best Ball Mania last year and had nothing to show for it.
I would like to go have some dinner out on Lake Champlain this afternoon.
And of all the BBM teams that we simmed in the Eliminator 2025 structure, Mathology's was the best.
Yeah, it was a good team. You got a big purchase. I saw you got a man's coin.
Mathology, one of the best drafters on Underdog.
The only sin in Mathology is being stupid.
This is just the best ball gods saying we need more Mathology in our lives.
If I win, I'm going to be here. If I lose, I'm going to go back to work.
Someday I'm going to change that intro, but I really like the intro. I just need to make some minor tweaks to it. Good to be back here with Mathology and, of course, Dark Sheep. I guess we'll start with Dark Sheep. How are you doing? How much have you been doing Underdog drafts so far this NFL season? Most people might think of you as being a baseball guy, but last year you got kind of into NFL. Are you getting back into it this year?
Yeah, for sure. Last year, I mean, I've always played NFL, DFS, and whatever, and along with MLB, because those are the two basic sports that I play, just because, you got to play football because that's where all the money is.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if baseball had some of that pushed its way, but got to play the games that are there. And so I did, a little chunk in of the full season long here on Underdog. I like to sweat the teams and did some eliminators that, just a smattering of contests kind of spread out, never really trying to target anything specific there. Whenever I'm feeling like drafting, I do a lot of vibe-based drafting. That's how I get like 40% Jacoby Myers.
So you're pretty different from Mathology. So kind of different, because I think of Mathology as being very intentional, like digging into the numbers, looking at, trying to figure out the best offensive game environments and stuff, which, I mean, I guess you're kind of doing also, but maybe less of a math-based approach, more of a vibes-based.
That was for season-long stuff.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
No, once I get into this, I'm probably too tied to projections.
Okay.
I'm definitely a projections kind of guy in the weekly stuff. And everybody, kind of my I don't know. I've said it on my own streams and stuff, which, stacking dingers. If you do want to get into baseball, check that out. Or, sometimes I stream at the sheep seats. But I've said it there, but I think something that everybody knows, it's not like it's an open secret, is that all the grinders are using ETR as a basis or their own numbers when we're talking about projections. So my kind of strategy last year, and it obviously worked, was to not use ETR and go somewhere else, which I don't know if you know me and my fantasy tree and where I learned, you can probably figure out where I go, but that's one of the things I do that I think that gets me different from the entire field. So I am tied in the numbers. I'm not looking individually at game totals and all that kind of stuff like Math does, but at the heart, a projection bro.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Mathology here as well. W Film Warehouse says that he skipped school to show up for Mathology today. Fellow Wisconsinite. I mean, W Film Warehouse, actually a Minnesota guy who's apparently going to school in Wisconsin, but good to see you here. Chad Candles in the chat. We got the what. Good to see all of you here. Mathology, how are you doing today?
Feeling great, Neil. This is the day. We're going to punch a ticket, the three of us. We're going to somehow get in there, all three of us.
Yeah, let's get there. I mean, we could just do it with one single lineup here where we can't actually all get there. That would be not going to work for us all to be there. But we can at least share a lineup together here today. What's up, Go AZ Cards? Yeah, I didn't wear a flannel. We talked about it before the stream. I was just too hot. I had to change into something shorter sleeved here. But I was appreciative of Sheep wearing a flannel today, at least.
Yes, it's hot here tay, but I was sacrificing for you, Neil, and your brand.
Yeah. You sacrifice for me more than I'm willing to sacrifice for myself, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, Math and I maybe would have to share a room because last year we shared a wall. Our hotel rooms were right next to each other, so that was pretty fun. I never met the guy before, but
yeah,
that was fun. Yeah,
we had fun.
Yeah, the whole thing is just a blast.
Last year in Dallas, right?
In Dallas, yeah.
I
think Math had more fun than I did. I was a little bit nervous. Like I had a hard time, getting in on all the food and the drink because it just like my brain was elsewhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I came in with like just throw it all in there. We're throwing haymakers and deep balls. Whatever happens. So
yeah, sounded like it was a good time. All the stories sounded like it was a great time. I'm sure it will be this year again, and hopefully we will all be there this time. Mathology, you're kind of leading the charge here today, and I know you had some questions you wanted to mull over here, so I'll kind of let you take over the conversation of the actual the whatever you want to talk about as far as the Dawg Bowl today.
Yeah, thanks, Neil. Yeah, I wanted to quickly, especially getting Matt's kind of opinion, and I don't know how much, Neil, you played on Underdog versus DraftKings this past week, but
just a few.
Do a little bit of reflection, a little bit of like what. And it's not like going a deep dive, like, oh, of course, play Daniel Jones and Fields. Like, not the low hanging fruit, but just kind of strategy thinking, kind of game theory thinking, just like what are one things that you're kind of proud of yourself or what you did well in week one? And then the second part of that question is what's one thing, if you could pick one thing of like just a quick area of improvement to make sure you really try to focus on for week two.
So
I'll let you go first, Neil.
Yeah. Oh.
You can go first, Matthew. If you have an answer ready, go right ahead.
Yeah. The thing that I think, I do well every week is correlate. That would kind of. So one thing I'll recommend to do, if you're going to do this contest, is to like save all of your draft boards, and actually like sit down after you're done. Take time to study and like see what combos and stacking people are actually doing. Like you're not going to overall ownership from that just from your few drafts, but you're going to get a good idea of who people are putting together and how many people in rooms, because it's such a repeat customer sort of thing of you get in the same room with 5 people. If you do 2 drafts in a row, there's the same people. So I think you can get a good idea of who's doing what each week. And to me, I think still this year, there's a lot of people and a lot of the volume guys are drafting just off ranks or projections. And they're not really targeting game environments. They might be targeting players in certain game environments that they like, but the correlation, I don't think people are using enough correlation. And I haven't taken the master class. They might show better numbers on that as to what was successful in the past. So this is just me being, an old DFS bro. But I think the thing that I do well is correlate.
Nice. And tell us what you suck at.
So this week in particular, the thing I sucked at was staying within my limit. Okay. So I think with a contest like this that is so top heavy, like you need to be realistic with your expectations. And like basically what I did last year, is I set aside a certain amount of money that I was willing to lose chasing this. And, you know, I got lucky enough to qualify week 1 last week. So I got to bump up that number, put a little bit back in from that win, because you do get paid out right away. But basically from my proceeds from last year's final, I did the same thing this year and set aside. This is the amount I'm willing to lose chasing this. And this week 1, I ended up going with 20 drafts instead of my targeted 10 to 12 a week. So that's the thing I need to make sure I don't spend it all before, you know, the week comes that I think I have the best edge.
Nice.
That's a good shout. You know,
always a good one. Yeah, it's always something I've struggled with also. So for me to answer those questions, I do like some of the shouts in chat. Well, drunk drafting, I'm never going to stop drunk drafting. It's the best time to draft when you're a little bit buzzed. But then I like the shout of drafting more late round stacks is the what shout. This is something that I actually think I'm generally pretty good at. But this week, I don't know. I drafted some Jared Goff, but like I kind of leaned into the chalk a little bit. I drafted Joe Flacco was kind of a target for me. I only did 2 lineups in the Dawg Bowl outside of the show. So we did 2 on the show. I did 2 outside of the show. Both of those I drafted Jared Goff because I kind of got talked into like, so he's going against a bad Packers secondary. So I kind of wish that I had diversified more. Like within 4 lineups, 2 of them like had 3 players overlapping. Goff stacked with two who do you have? Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams in 2 of my 4 lineups. I think that's just too much overlap within lineups if you're only playing 4 to not like diversify a little bit more. So I think that's kind of something I regret is not diversifying a little bit more. And of course, it'd be fine to start with that if then you make more lineups, so you have a more diverse set. But I kind of regret that. My top lineup back last week, by the way, just barely missed the cash line. It was one that we drafted here on the stream with Jaden Daniels and Brock Bowers. I think if Bowers had stayed healthy, maybe we would have gotten there. The thing that I did best is, I correlated my lineups very strongly. I thought, at least within the stacks, I didn't actually bring back that one, the Detroit ones with Packers players. So maybe I could have correlated that a little bit more than I did. But I did get to Travis Etienne. You know, it kind of leaned into the chaos there of, you know, people being shying away from an uncertain situation. I talked about it a lot last week, how much I liked Travis Etienne, and that worked out pretty well. I kind of wish that I had still taken an early running back and then added him on. I kind of had it in my mind like, I can, you know, push the running backs because I have these guys that I like at the end in Travis Etienne. And so that one went well. Jerome Ford was the other one, which went terribly. But I kind of thought I can push running backs because I like some of the guys at the end. Maybe it would have made more sense to still take a big dog earlier, or somebody early, whoever was available, and then throw on another at the end. So that's areas of improvement for me. Yeah,
and for me, the macro forecasting of the slate, I just had a hunch, and it, you know, points total said it was going to be a low scoring slate. My number, and Matt, I want to get, when we move on to week 2, I want you to think about what number gets home. Is it 120, 130, 140? Think about that on the side. But that was for me. I was like, I think if I can build a team with like 115, I could probably punch a ticket. And that was kind of my goal for week 1. So I kind of nailed that number. So I'm hoping that I can do that again this week, kind of figure out what that number is that I need to build towards. But very similar to what you guys said in the areas of improvement, I just went so hard at that Green Bay Detroit game, and then really targeting those NFC South games that just didn't materialize to anything. They were just slogs of a game. So I didn't really get into the game environments or even those onesie one-offs that you needed to have to punch a ticket for week 1. So those are kind of the things for me a little bit, is be a little bit more diversified in my, you know, having a good target range. If I get locked in like the second half of the draft, don't always just take the same players or the same type of game environments over versus like the front half of the board. I've done a couple of drafts so far this week, and it seems like the front half of the board is a lot more funner than the back half of the board so far that I'm seeing. But that's kind of my little takeaway from week 1, and things that hopefully I can get better at week 2 to put myself in that top 20 range with an actual sweat. Like I didn't even have a sweat at all. I was like I had one that was like pushing around end, but it was so like I was so blocked with people in front of me. I was just like, I'm dead. So I was lucky enough just to not really jump on the app to begin the day. Anyway, I did a good job staying away until about the halftime at the 4:00 window. Then I kind of looked in. I'm like, oh, I'm dead. So I was able to enjoy my day and not have a bad week one, that way.
I only had a sweat in the sense that I had one lineup where I had two players in the early games and they both did well. So I was like, oh, if the Lions cook in the afternoon, I'm going to be awesome. But then, of course, they suck. So I never actually had a sweat, but it was kind of like this could work still halfway through the slate. So backstacking, lets you sweat a little bit longer.
Yeah. My best going into the afternoon games had Tony Pollard and Nico Collins left. And that was a Daniel Jones, Tyler Warren mini or skinny stack. And, Kamara had 12 points, but at that point, there wasn't Bijan had put up a good running back number, but otherwise there wasn't a ton of great running back numbers. I mean, just look at the person that got first with Bill and his 14 points. So the 12 from Kamara going into the afternoon didn't seem terrible based on other running back scores. And that had Garrett Wilson then too. So I felt I had one of one of those 20-point targets that you had talked about last week on the show, Math.
Yeah.
So I felt, and the Daniel Jones, Tyler Warren was good. Tight end was sort of the same thing as running back. Nobody really put up a score that you needed to have going into the afternoon, but obviously that just died on the vine.
Are we ready for this or no, Math?
Yeah, I was thinking about sharing the screen as we kind of transition into week 2 now. I think there's some good shout outs. So kind of jumping into this slate, what are you seeing, Matt? What are your early kind of thoughts on where the field's going to go? Where do you what kind of the pockets are you liking?
So I've done one draft so far just as a prep, for this here, but I'm actually not like a guy trying to get in early on ADPs because like I said earlier, I just use a different projection source. Yep. So that's kind of what I lean on. So I don't have a ton of like early takes in the week. I actually kind of wait till ETR is out and see where the differences are. And then I start thinking through where I want to attack certain players in different pockets and pulling guys up.
This is good. I mean, you're a super sharp drafter. You might wait for projection. So we're kind of getting your gut instincts right now. So you're looking at this QB pool here. What are your early thoughts with Lamar, Allen, Hurts, Burrow? We got some firepower up top here. And then we're starting to get into that. What are these guys? Fields, Murray, Mahomes, Dak, May, and then you're really getting into the pocket passers after that with Goff, Purdy, Nix, Lawrence. To me, it seems a little deep, but definitely top heavy.
Yeah, I will say that that was my initial impression doing the draft last night and just going through the positions and where guys were going. Compared to week 1, the quarterback is loaded up there in the front. We have these guys back on a main slate. It was just Jane Daniels last week, so you're kind of making that decision, and then maybe putting a Burrow if you wanted to do a Cincinnati stack. But otherwise, the quarterbacks are kind of wait and see what happens the rest of the draft last week. But this week, I think you need to decide how heavy you want to try and get in that first round on the big top end quarterbacks. Like how much Lamar, how much Josh Allen do you want? Jalen Hurts also, these guys with the 2 rushing touchdown upside.
Yeah, Neil, what do you think about on the kind of game environment side? Is there anything that stands out to you at the quarterback position this week?
Yeah, I mean, so week 2 of DFS, and I should say this, like I don't think I've ever won a tournament in week 2. It's one that I always love. I think that it is a good week for DFS in general. Just has not quite worked out for me this early in the season, but it is one where people tend to overreact, and you can kind of get an advantage by not overreacting to what you saw in week 1. And I think this is a great slate to do that. So for example, Trevor Lawrence, a guy that, and of course we have a larger sample size than just week 1. Like we have a whole career of him being kind of meh, but a great game environment here with Cincinnati. I think both sides, obviously we can get Joe Burrow. if people overreact to the Bengals at all, obviously I would love that. I don't really anticipate people being like, "Oh, I'm out on Jamar Chase." Like, I just think that's one where people are smart enough to not overrate what happened in week 1 there. But I think Trevor Lawrence is one where we saw him. He struggled against a really bad Carolina defense. So people are just going to be like, "Well, he can't even get it done against Carolina. What makes him can get it done against Cincinnati?" Which might be right, but we don't know that for sure. And they're just such a bad defense, and they're going to have to push it with Cincinnati on the other side. That I think we could wait on somebody like Trevor Lawrence. Obviously, Kyler Murray against Carolina looks pretty good. I love that game environment. Carolina and Arizona is a pretty strong one. I think there was Drake May actually looks really interesting to me also. Miami, I think, could be a defense that is going to struggle. I think they might not be a very good team, and I think Drake May, like he kind of underwhelmed in week 1, but I think he is just a dual threat quarterback in a good spot here against Miami. So I do like Drake May as well. So those are 3 that stand out to me.
Yeah, I like those shout outs. How are you guys feeling about Fields? Is that one of those overreactions getting drafted pretty early, or do you think that's gonna be fantasy goodness pretty much throughout the season?
I think it's going to be fantasy goodness. I hope so. He was one of my highest drafted quarterbacks in best ball ultimately. So I kind of believe that he's like clearly a better fantasy quarterback than he is a real life quarterback. And we'll see. I mean, it's tough because we just saw Baltimore and Buffalo just go at it and put up big scores. I'm not sure if I'm expecting other teams to be able to do the same against these defenses. I think it's not a great spot here against Buffalo. So in general, I'd say I think he is the real deal as far as a fantasy quarterback. But I'm not sure it's going to happen this week against Buffalo.
And I'll say, Garrett Wilson is his one and only target. So like if you want to play Fields, like it's simple. Just play Wilson. And like that was something I totally missed, in my vibes based off-season drafting, was just how decimated that team was in terms of just like other talent. So I wish I had gotten more Garrett Wilson. So talking about Justin Fields just makes me think about Garrett Wilson and how much he can just go off each week being the only guy.
Yeah, I agree. I did one earlier. I was able to kind of get, I think, Wilson in the third, and then Fields in the 4th earlier today. I think that's going to be a very popular pairing from what I see so far.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense
on draft boards so far.
What are you doing as far as game stack in that one, Matt? Did you do any Buffalo? Were you thinking about doing anybody from Buffalo there?
I did. I took James Cook in the 2nd.
Okay. Nice.
I did a little game stack with James Cook in the 2nd, because I think one of the key decisions, of course, is getting your quarterback right, and is there a scroll available? Daniel Jones is still pretty undrafted, but he's got a really tough matchup. Cam Ward, another tough matchup. Maybe you can get the Flacco against Baltimore. I don't know though. Baltimore's really good, and I could see that game getting out of hand pretty easily. But that's kind of where I'm at with that game environment. I kind of see this week a little bit differently, where it's not really a lot of bringbacks. I see a lot of just, Baltimore's, Vegas thinks they're going to score about 28 points. Buffalo's like 27 points. Detroit's 27. The Niners are 24. Dallas is 25. Cincy's 27. Philly's 24. KC's 23. Rams are like 24. A lot of home favorites this week, so I might be kind of more trying to layer in, nice singles and double stacks, or correlated two different correlated team builds, but they don't play each other, if that makes sense. Try to get some Baltimore and Dallas mixed together, or or Detroit and Buffalo mixed together, or something like that. Is a couple of angles that I'm thinking about early this week.
I like it.
So you mentioned Daniel Jones, and that was my question for you guys. The more football guys here is, I did one. I ended up getting him. All right, I got first pick in my draft, and I ended up taking I just ran back the winning lineup from last week, and I did the double Daniel Jones stack on that. Just because I hadn't really prepped anything, I was just kind of seeing what was going on. But
yeah,
then Matt, you showed me one of your draft boards that you did, and he wasn't even drafted. So what is it? It's just purely Denver defense matchup that now everybody's wiped their mind of what he did last week.
Yeah, I think it's Denver's defense is probably one of the best in football. I think everyone thinks this is kind of a 1 week thing. You put the film on, you put the game on film, you let Denver watch it. I think a lot of people are going to think that Denver or Indy's not going to be able to repeat their success against that defense.
But guys, I'm going to leave you guys for just a moment here because I have to go take care of some stuff. My wife just texted me, so I'll be back in like 3 minutes.
Yep, sounds good. Good luck, But yeah, it's a good angle because I think I've done 3 or 4 now, and he hasn't been drafted yet, Matt.
Yeah. So, I mean, maybe that's where not knowing football is to my advantage. I don't, you know. And you know, I will say that the projections will show when they'll come out. They'll show you the defense, what's defenses you need to care about. Like,
yeah,
I've never felt like in football that I needed to get that granular.
Yeah, I think a lot of it too was just 2 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
They're a little fluky. Is that repeatable? Maybe. Yeah. I don't want to. I never want to say no. I always want to say yes, potentially.
Yeah. But like when you do that, if you grab like you can, if you want to switch over to the RB, so you can grab any of these high end running backs, which I took McCaffrey pick 1 because now that whole team is hurt. So it seems like he's gonna have, and there was no restrictions last week after the injury scare, so I have no problem taking him first. So I took him and I took Kamara. So you can just double up on and just say you need 2. You're gonna get 2 big running back bull scores, and then put together your Daniel Jones stack later. And that's something I do a lot as I'm starting the draft, is like, okay, I take this guy and think all the way to the end of the draft. Think like, do I want to is this going to be a 1 running back team? Who am I going to take in the second round, and how is that going to affect me going forward, and and which other things I'm going to be able to pick? Because on these small rosters, to me, it's all about like value over replacement. And like when you're taking a high end running back, how much value are you getting over? And then you look at like then the tight end position and the quarterback position, and as the projections go down in the draft, you think about, I don't so much think as like I need to get this total points from them. I'm just trying to think, where am I going to get value on another player later at a different position compared to what the field is doing.
And it seems like the field's really pushing up RBs early this season. That was last week, and I think that is transitioning to this week too, where people are getting their RB1 right away. So I've been playing around, especially when I'm on the back end of the board so far. I've been playing around with is grabbing 2 kind of alpha wide receivers. If I can get a Puka and a Thomas or something like that, or a Puka and a McBride, and see if I can get a falling running back value. It hasn't happened yet, but it's one kind of angle that I'm willing to take a little bit on the right side of the board. Yeah,
and in that case, even if it's not like a huge value later on, you just get the guy who gets a touchdown, and maybe you're at an advantage already at the other positions.
Now, is there like a cutoff point for you where you might switch, say in the first round, or do you think it's like all these guys are first round picks from McCaffrey to Chase Brown, and you can kind of include Achane because he's kind of going there now too?
Yeah, I think that they're all first round. Last week, I was low on Gibbs and Taylor, and Bijan. Yes. So I definitely took some stands last week on the which one. But when I'm doing 10, 12 lineups, I kind of have to make that decision. But I think if you like any of these guys, you saw, maybe with the exception of Gibbs, and kind of why I'm low on him is David Montgomery, is all these other guys that are here are the guy.
Right.
Like, even Kyron, who, once again, we're not going to use Kyron all the time. And what did they do? They used Kyron all the time.
Right.
And that's the most important thing, I think, in a first round running back.
Yeah. Volume is king in the running back room. So then, yeah, it's kind of like the top end's pretty strong. And then this is where these are the kind of the second round starts with Taylor, Kyron, Cook, Connor, Hall, Kamara, Hubbard. This is kind of early markets. Are you kind of in line with this, or is there anybody that kind of stands out for you a little bit more than others kind of in this 2-3 turn?
Going into the season, I was big on James Conner and his volume potential. I think kind of regretting that a little bit because it did seem like, I don't know the exact numbers, but just I was watching I was out running around, so I was just watching the ESPN app, watching the lines move across the screen, and it seemed like there was too much. I'm blanking on his backup's name, but
Benson.
Benson. There's too many times Trey Benson's name came across than I expected. So I need to re-examine that maybe this week. But otherwise, I think Kamara again stands out. Like I said, I took him as my second pick, and seems like maybe people are still cold, on his cold run at the end of last season and just not doing too much in terms of actual scoring week one. I don't know if your hand in the, dirt take on Kamara and, this new New Orleans offense this year.
Yeah, the usage was fine. I mean, they did mix in a couple other running backs. I think he lost seven total touches throughout the game, but I mean, he was on the field all the time. They kept stalling out.
Yeah.
He did get a touchdown. Not a lot of explosives that happened, but they're a young offensive line. I think they're going to get better. It is a tough matchup. The Niners got a pretty good front. But again, he should have the lion's share of the work, and hopefully San Fran, with all their injuries, it becomes a little bit more of a closer ball game where it's not so one-sided, and this game could pop.
True. True.
It could pop a little bit, especially if the Saints get up early. They get an explosive, and it comes from Kamara.
I think the other one that we should talk about is scrolled right underneath that there, and that's Travis Etienne now.
Yep.
With Tank Bigsby gone, traded to Philadelphia. We saw him last week go off. So do you think he's going to rise in ADP? This week.
I saw Viper started taking him in the 2-3 turn already. Yeah, he's already moving up boards pretty fast. I think he's already pretty much, you're going to see when we hop in the room here in a little bit, he's going to go probably the 3-4 in that area.
Yeah, and then there's, we get into a bunch of question marks in my mind.
Yeah. One guy that I'm really thinking about being a little overexposed to is Henderson with Miami's DST. Just how kind of easy they were able to, march the field. Jones took a lot of the touchdowns, but like at will, he was able to, Dimes was able to move the ball. And I think Henderson's going to be a big kind of a bigger part of that offense, especially in the passing game. And I feel like he could be kind of a sneaky play. Maybe in that one running back room, if you're on that right side of the board, he could be a guy that you could grab, or you could pair him with an elite running back. It might be an interesting kind of RB play. I think he's got that ceiling this week that might get home. However, he's getting drafted in 100% of draft rooms, so you'll be fighting with other Henderson teams for sure.
What about Ramondre Stevenson? Would you play it the other way? Like, if everybody else is going to draft Trevion Henderson, do we have a little bit of leverage potentially, or do you think that's just too thin anyway?
It's monster leverage. How about this, Neil? He hasn't been drafted yet.
I mean, that seems and he got more of the work last week, right?
Yeah, especially goal line work. I mean, he could get 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So that's a good shout out, Neil.
I have not spent a lot of time looking at this slate, so I don't have a ton of thoughts. It's just as you're talking through it, that one is interesting at least.
And another one that I've been grabbing for a little bit is Swift. I liked his usage. He got a pretty good utilization score from the guys over at Fantasy Life. And he got a lot of work, and he got pretty much the lion's share of the snaps and everything. And inside a dome, going back to play the Lions, there's some narratives there that we like to click on. So he's another one that I'm eyeing. I haven't done anything Javonte Williams yet. I think he's going to project pretty well. But I just he's one of those. I just don't know. I don't know what to do with him yet.
If he doesn't fall into the end zone twice, like, he's unlikely to get there.
Right. That's my thought. And the Giants have a really good front. They're a little suspect in the back end, but their front is really good. But Dallas does seem to want to pound it when they get in close. They want to try to establish a run game. So I thought that was interesting. So let's just hit wide receivers quick, and we'll breeze through the tight end because it's really just one decision point there this week. But kind of how I saw the wide receivers this week was there's the elites kind of up top, and then it's everybody else. You got Chase, Lamb, Puka, hopefully Thomas, but I don't know. He's one of those tweeners right now because we didn't see it last week, but he's got that juicy matchup in the highest point total of the week. Same thing, kind of Neighbors. He's got that ceiling, and then we're kind of getting these question marks, guys that could pop off. Game environments are kind of null a little bit with, it's pretty much St. Brown, and I got like St. Brown all the way down to like Ridley, DJ Moore, Ted Roy. I think all those guys you can kind of lump into one kind of flat tier there and just kind of pick and piece as you what kind of game environment you like or one-offs that you like in the games. You guys seeing it similar or any shout outs you want to highlight here?
I mean, the top looks really strong to me. Like you pointed out, I would include BTJ in there. I think it's just such a strong matchup that to me he does look pretty elite against Cincinnati. I think I agree with like your general assessment. I'm always looking for like who could be a guy who puts up 25 who's not being drafted every time, and that's always to me an interesting question here. Do we think that Travis Hunter has that in his range of outcomes yet in this matchup with Cincinnati? Last week it was more like short stuff to Hunter, but you kind of wonder, like, he's so talented. He was, playing a lot on offense. Maybe that's in his range of outcomes and probably not getting drafted every time.
He is getting drafted every time right now that I've seen.
Okay.
And the ADP right now indicates that he is inside of 70.
Okay. Yeah.
8 targets you like. I probably will definitely have a Lawrence double. I'll probably build at least one Lawrence double.
Yeah. Tough to do a bring back, I assume, with that one. Like to do, at least you couldn't do it with Burrow, I would assume, but I don't even know it's possible with Lawrence to have a bring back that includes either Chase or Higgins. That seems like it's probably asking too much.
You're going to have to put Brian Thomas, draft him early, take him over all those elite running backs and move them on the left side of the board in the first round.
Okay.
And then you could build it out there because you could get Higgins.
Okay. Interesting.
In the second, and then Hunter. So you could do a BTJ, Higgins, Hunter, Lawrence. You can do that.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
I think last week Higgins, in terms of projections, stood out to me. He was, they were supposed to have a good environment last week, but we know what happened there. But he was projecting like wide receiver 4 or 5 in what I use. So I think he's going to be super interesting this year, especially as Neil said, we were hoping that maybe people would overreact, but this field isn't overreacting to that first game.
No.
But the other one that stands out to me is Devontae Adams. Who, Zay Flowers a bit too, and the 3 guys there, Cortland Sutton too. We saw just be the guy again.
Yeah, first 3 targets, extremely high. It feels like he's got a really good end zone role, scoring touchdowns. I did like Zay Flowers' utilization that the guys at Fantasy Life gave him. He had one of the best scores of the through the wide receiver overall usage. You know, they designed a lot of plays for him. So again, in that matchup, he has ceiling, but I do think he might have a low floor. If Baltimore scores like we think they're going to score, he could get left in the dust, and it's all Henry and other people, and he has a very low scoring game. It's in the range of outcomes for sure.
Yeah, but I just think Devontae Adams still has a little bit of juice this year, and he's a guy. You know, he is getting drafted every time, but I think he's still a guy that I'm going to be drafting a lot all year, just with 2 touchdown upside in the middle of the draft.
Yeah, not a lot of players do that. Speaking of olds, I assume Calvin Ridley is getting drafted every time too.
Yes, he's now kind of more in one of the last wide receivers selected. Him through Devontae, Hunter, like Jamison Williams. Kind of you get down into Diggs, Rome, Worthy, Pittman. These guys are kind of more on the fringe right now.
Okay, interesting.
I've seen some Olave clicks. Waddle to me is interesting because of his splits against New England is like ungodly. He kills the Pats. So he's probably one. I don't think I really want to touch this dumpster fire that's down in the Hard Rock area right now, but he's one that I'm kind of keeping my eye on. He might be worth it because New England secondary isn't very good.
I like it.
Yeah, and you talked about New England, and I think everybody's going to be targeting New England, but I still think maybe this is transition to the next position. But last week, my favorite tight end was Hunter Henry in the last round, and I was doing a lot of back stacks of like if my quarterback got sniped with an early wide receiver, my default last week was think about Drake May, Hunter Henry, and I think now even better matchup. I'm going to be going there again this week too.
Yeah. So for me, this is, do you think Trey McBride's going to break the slate at tight end, or you want to just wait it out and kind of either stack it or kind of handpick what you think is a good play? Cause it's pretty gross after Trey. I mean, Laporta had got a lot of good usage and Tyler Warren looked really good. And then I have seen Harold Fannin getting selected an awful lot so far today.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for elite tight ends, so I'll probably fall for the Trey McBride thing and just think maybe this is the week he scored the touchdown and adds that on. He's always like a touchdown away from being elite. He just doesn't score touchdowns. And I'm willing to make that bet against Carolina again. So I think I'll probably often like around ADP just be like, yep, I'll take the elite tight end and take later shots on wide receivers I like with upside rather than late tight ends. But I, like I said, I'm a sucker for it. Probably shouldn't just follow my lead there.
I think tight end doesn't matter in the Dawg Bowl. Like the amount of weeks that you're going to have a slate breaking tight end is so low that if you're choosing not to target those early tight ends, you're going to be right more often than you're not.
Yeah, I like that shout out. It was kind of like that last week. Kind of like that a lot last season.
I mean, the winning lineup had Brock Bowers, and the second one had Tyler Warren and George Kittle. So it was all early tight ends last week that got there. But then you go the 4 or 5, is Kyle Pitts. So you wonder if these people had taken Juwan Johnson instead. Some of them it's correlated, so I understand why they went Kyle Pitts. But in terms of tight end, doesn't matter. If they had just gone Juwan Johnson instead, they'd probably not be crying today. So
it sounds to me like tight end does matter, though. You're saying if they took this specific tight end, I mean.
Oh, I just mean when you take tight end, just doesn't matter.
Okay. Yeah.
I do need to shout out my buddy League of Items, who back in COVID was the guy he ended up in 5th. He was leading going into the second round. He he gave me my first video appearance back when it was just League of Legends, and he was looking for anybody to talk to about League of Legends, and I was looking for anything to play DFS on. So I do got to shout out him. Rip, to his final results, but it's got a nice change to take some firepower next couple of weeks too.
Nice.
Yeah. That was a tough ending of those games for him. Played well though. That was a really sharp lineup.
Wait, who is this? What are we talking about in the Dawg Bowl last week?
Yeah, League of Items is his username.
Yeah, it was close to taking it down, but then didn't. That's tough. Okay.
Yeah, he had a Penix, Bijan Pitts with a Egbuka run back. So
okay,
that's the kind of lineup I like to see.
Yeah.
Even though just because those are the kind of lineups I like to make. So
yeah, me too. Good shout out there. I was pulling for him when I checked in at like 4:30, 5 o'clock. I was like, "Ooh, at least I know this guy." And then I know Dan that snuck in. Dan was littered the leaderboard. He was right on the slate.
Is that Dan Preciato here?
Yeah. He was in the.
Yeah. All right. Anything? Any last minute words on tight end? Are we pretty good about? Yeah.
One thing I just thought was funny when looking at ADP is you put all the positions on here, back on, and then take a look at this. You have Chase, McCaffrey, Henry first, and then you go over to the main slate ADP. And it's not even close. Derrick Henry's down at 4. Yeah. But if you click over on the main slate, he's like 1-1 with a bullet point. I think he's 1-8.
Yeah.
So
I think what you're going to see is projection, especially that projection ceiling for him is going to be like pushing north of 30.
Okay.
I think that's and I agree, and I think Henry's probably my 101 right now too. But do I really want to be extremely overweight on Chase and McCaffrey at the same time? Probably not. But
yeah, I just thought it was funny because I clicked on the wrong slate first, and I was like, "This doesn't look right." Oh wait, but just to get the difference in mindset, from people.
It's interesting.
Yeah. All right, let's do it, guys. Let's jump in a room and let's see if we can have some fun. Hopefully, pull something on the right side of the board.
No, from Danny here. He says, I only remember 1 week where you absolutely 1,000% needed a tight end score last year, and it was Taysom Hill's 38.5 point week as a third rounder. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I punched one with Pat Frymouth just because it was a Fields double week. But again, it's if you think that he separates, it's worth it. But if you don't think he can separate, it's probably not worth it.
Yeah, just kind of depends on. And there usually is some second tight end who you draft later who is going to put up a big score. It's just sort of it's more about like the predictability where it's like you kind of the odds of a Bowers or McBride putting up 15 plus is like, I don't know, 40%, whereas maybe higher. I don't know the odds there, but then anybody else, it feels like it's more like 10% at most for most of them. But that's a good note. I mean, I know that I play it wrong by going after the elite tight ends. I just can't help myself. But maybe I just so do you typically just stack it? Is it usually just like put it with your quarterback?
Yeah, or a run back from the other stack that I have. But I still do take like Trey McBride. He was at the Dawg Bowl last year, which is slightly different because it's a smaller field, much smaller field than the 5,000 some. I went really heavy on an elite tight end, and it did not work out. All my good lineups were not there. So you got another left side of the board pick here.
About time. You were all over. You were all over that Arizona game.
Yeah.
Because you had 6 drafts. You punched 2 tickets, right?
Correct. Yeah. And I had 4. Well, part of my strategy was go heavy on guys in round 1 and hope that I could have the right guy. So 4 of my teams were Trey McBride round 1 picks. 2 were Justin Jefferson. Thankfully, Justin Jefferson was the guy that you wanted. And
yes, he was.
Minnesota was the other team that I wanted to attack that week.
Was it Minnesota versus Detroit last year? Wait, who
Atlanta.
Packers. I mean last year.
Yeah,
Or
Atlanta.
you mean today? It's
No, that for the Dawg Bowl, it was Minnesota Atlanta. That game went nuts.
oh, was it not week 17?
They might have played. The Dawg Bowl is week 14.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Which is fun because like you punch a ticket and then you're sweating your best ball. You guys want to do Henry or Chase? I kind of want to lean Henry here.
You said Henry's your guy. Let's do your guy.
I'm down for it.
Let's try that. We got some friends and family. We got Viper in here. Got the what? Schmo.
Oh, there's your guy. League of Items.
Yep.
Yeah, there he is, Michael.
Shout out, Michael. You got Razor. Dan's going back, getting more.
Yeah, it's funny. I didn't actually talk to Dan while I was there, but now I've talked to him a bunch online since then.
Nice.
I feel like it's kind of weird. Like, oh, I met this guy or I saw this guy in person, but I've never really talked to him. And now I've talked to him a bunch. So,
Yes. It is in fact Tuesday, Brett. Although we do call the show, we used to call it Mondays with Matt, so we're confusing you with the intro. But
so now we got a little bit of time as the 2 pick. How's everybody's best ball? Week 1 in best ball. Any big bag defending or bag celebration going on?
so far, so like my actual results so far, not amazing. Like they're okay. I advanced 87 out of 150 in the eliminator. Got my 1 out of 1 in the big eliminator. So yeah, your 50% is the average. So doing well on that front. I'm just under expectation in BBM right now. I think I'm advancing 23 and a half. One of them is tied. But I'm really excited about Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, a guy that I was drafting pretty late. So I have a lot of late round Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. And then now the trade with Tank Bigsby makes me feel so much better because Bashal Tutin is the one of 3 players that I have more than $4,000 on in best ball. It's probably just Travis Etienne. I'm probably still dead, but I'm hopeful about my Tutin bags.
Yeah, I mean, just 1 injury away now.
Yep.
I'm gonna my favorite guy, Jacoby Myers. You know, it took a little bit of an injury to Brock Bowers, but his uses were just what I expected. And once Vegas has one of those home dome games, like the projections are gonna love them. So that was kind of the thesis of that. And I have a bunch of Geno too, so that's good. And I mentioned earlier that I was also big on James Conner, and it looks like that is one place where they actually were what they said about ceding some work to his backup is coming to fruition. So that's probably my loss, but I got 8 out of 12 of my eliminators and 2 out of 3 of my big elims through first round.
Nice.
So
Not bad,
Nice.
not bad.
Yeah.
Look at this pro Mathology sharing the screen and goes to the board, shows the board. Everybody, my first few times, I was like, I had no idea you're supposed to be showing the board. That's what people want. You just do it right away. Good for you.
Yeah. For me, man, I'm still pretty pumped about Keenan Allen's usage and where I got him, having that wide receiver 3-4 in the, my last pick is I'm advancing a lot of teams right now because of it. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But so far, so good.
I'm feeling great about my fantasy best ball roster where I got Mathology as one of my guys.
Yeah.
I knew I saw all that Keenan Allen. I was like, you gotta have Mathology in your fantasy best ball.
I think in the overall leaderboard, I think I'm like in 150th place right now. I got like one that's up 160 right now.
How many are you advancing right now? Oh, on the leaderboard, I see. But how many are you? What's your advance rate look like?
all right, we're on the board here, or we're on the clock here.
Yeah. Do you guys want to do Kamara? I'm good with Higgins. I don't really like Brown too much.
I like either of those, Higgins or Kamara.
Yeah, I'll say Higgins because I took Kamara in my other draft. Just
good tiebreaker.
I want to say that I think what we're talking about wide receiver, you feel it already. You look at this point and you're like, okay, yeah, I could take JSN, or I could take Garrett Wilson, or I could scroll down to the next list of wide receivers and I could take them. So this is where like value over replacement is really interesting. Like these guys all feel the same. Like you said, Matt, just this huge glut of guys this week.
Yeah, and it's a good shout out there too, because since CMC went 1, I mean, we're going to have our pick here of Kamara or Chuba if we want to, or we can try to build something here. I think Ricky's going to project very, very high because of the Kittle news and Jennings being hurt. So I don't mind bringing him up here.
Purdy's out. It's the only downside there.
Purdy's not playing this week?
I think that's what I heard. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think it's kind of wait and see.
But okay, I'd be happy if you want to pull him up. Harrison, I'm not a big Marvin Harrison guy, but against Carolina,
yeah, I like that shout too. What about you, Sheep?
This is all just like a coin flip to me right now.
All right, we're good.
This is where kind of what I was trying to say earlier is this decision right here is like going to choose what the rest of the, I mean, maybe this is a dumb thing to say, but this is like the decision point where you're going to develop your team from here. So do we take a elite running back here and then try and, are we going to put together a back stack now? If we take a wide receiver there, we're probably considering the quarterback also, or I am, I'm because I want to correlate. And so if I'm taking a wide receiver there, I'm likely thinking, do I also like the quarterback and the tight end with them? And so that kind of goes into my decision making here at this point. But I also think just taking a guy and then basing your lineup the rest of the way off of that decision is just fine too.
Yeah, I agree with that.
For sure.
Yeah, I went with Kamara just because that's a pretty good pairing. Henry Kamara locks up a ton of touches with a lot of touchdown potential.
Yeah.
I feel like he can separate a little bit more with the guys that got between Etienne, Hubbard, Juju. And then with the Purdy uncertainty, it's a little nerve wracking. If Purdy doesn't go, I mean, Ricky is just a bad click at that point.
JGFC says the local San Fran vibes are that Purdy's going to sit. So
wow,
good to know. So maybe a fourth or fifth round pick rather than third.
Right.
That's why McCaffrey's number one for me. Like he might be the quarterback this week too.
Yeah, touched the ball 45 times.
What's up, Chad? Good to see. Yeah, happy to have Sheep in the Flannelverse. Dowdle, oh man, you thought he was gonna have I never even considered that potential split.
So to continue our conversation before, I just pulled up my other my guys that I'm super high on, and I think it's looking good too. Outside of Connor, is my second highest owned running back, who have like 30% is Charbonnet, which I don't know if we didn't really talk about them when we talk about running back, but I don't know if they're still Ken Walker is still slightly injured, or they're just being careful with him, or if that's the split they're going to have this year. So that feels good. And then I was also high on Bucky Irving, and he just continued, awesome. even with everybody healthy behind him, he had awesome usage.
I was a Kenneth Walker guy, so I'm not loving that as much. Not as fun for me. I got onto some Zach Charbonnet late in the drafting season, but by then he was like, people were reaching for him in like the 80s, like 85. Yeah,
that was me. I was doing that.
Yeah. So it was tougher for me to get to him. I'm also a huge Jordan Mason bull, so it was like, well, I'm not taking him over Jordan Mason, and then that just still meant I got to some Charbonnet, but not a ton.
Yeah, that was a game I actually did watch one of the few games I watched this weekend was last night. That's kind of my football viewing habits, is like on Sunday I'm just running around, family stuff, church stuff, whatever. I'm watching the app and then watching the points go up, and then Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night, that's when I actually sit down and watch some football and throw a couple of dumb underdog pick'ems together in the first half when I think I know what's going to happen in the second half, which which is just a fun pastime. I don't do a ton of pick'ems, but I always wind up doing that. I kind of blame the ship chasing guys for that, because their Thursday night stream where they put together Sunday they're doing it now, but last year the Thursday nights I'd always have them on in the headphones with TV muted, and I found out how fun it was just to try and predict what's going to happen in the second half.
Yeah.
Sounds like maybe the Typhel Tower guys are going to be doing Thursday night streams during the game, but I don't know if that was just a one-time thing or they're going to keep doing it.
Yeah, I saw Tyler in the chat. Maybe he'll
saw him earlier.
let us know. All right, boys. We got some good wide receivers. We got our boy Devontae Adams, kind of that we're eyeballing here.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys want to try to? I don't really feel like doing anything with Mahomes, but we probably could. I think our man.
My mic's been broken this whole time.
There goes.
Yeah, there goes Wilson. That was kind of where I was going.
Did Travis Hunter go already?
No, he's still here.
I would not mind building out that game stack, but we could still do something else if you prefer.
We could probably get him if we like a running back or quarterback.
I mean, we don't need him now. If you like one of these other receivers,
I mean, we're gonna have to get him in the.
We can only do okay.
Yeah,
he's our last wide receiver.
Yeah. So okay. You guys we'll pull up. Is there a tight end we like more?
I like Bretton Strange with that stack. I would not be opposed to. But what would be the order that we would have to do that one? And you think?
There's a chance that Lawrence goes.
Yeah, where's?
I think I would rather take.
No, he's got Murray. So
okay, yeah,
he's got Murray.
So then we take our tight end.
All right. The concern would be if we take our tight end, then we can't get the stacks. I guess we could do Rattler with Alvin Kamara would be our fallback, but
I think I'd rather get lock up and not try to push it
with Strange. Okay,
Lawrence, right?
Oh, with Lawrence, yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Sure.
Yeah,
just because we don't have quarterback outs other than arguably Rattler, but
I mean, I think our out at that point would be like Daniel Jones.
Oh, running quarterback, yeah,
that's
true.
That's fun.
Yeah, I like that. We got the at least the stack. We'll see if we can add on to it, but
yeah, this is a lot like how I build teams.
Yeah, me too.
Me too.
Hunter had a lot of good usage, 8 targets. I mean, it's just Lawrence was just so inaccurate. That was the biggest problem, and it was kind of a weird game with the weather delay. But hopefully, are they at home? That's one thing I forget to look. I always like.
Oh yeah,
I always like taking home quarterbacks. It's one little.
Interesting.
They're at Cincinnati, I think.
They're at Cincy, yeah. But yeah, this is kind of what we're seeing. You're seeing a lot of green up top, and then a lot of yellow down here, and then and this whole bottom row will be nothing but blue.
Yep. Yeah, I think my draft was that way. The one you shared.
Yep.
That last round was just all blue.
Nice. Mac Jones made BTJ look good. So are you comfy with Pearsall if Purdy sits? I wouldn't say that he made BTJ look good. I would say he didn't stop BTJ from looking good. But it's a good point. He supported BTJ last year.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that was just, they just put BTJ in that role underneath with a lot of room to run. And he just got so much yard after reception.
Yeah.
What is the ceiling for Pearsall this year? Let pretend they get healthy relatively soon. Well, I guess Kittle I think is on the IR already, but Purdy's fine in a week. It's CMC, it's Pearsall, and it's Juwan Jennings. What do you think the actual ceiling is for Pearsall?
Fantasy Life already has their week 2 projections up. I'll quickly jump on there.
Do you mean for the season or for?
Yeah, for the season. Is he the type of guy? I'm asking as a non-ball knower. Is he the type of guy that can be an alpha in a year-long type of thing?
I think he could be a wide receiver 2 overall. So like a 13 to 24 kind of range is my instinct for what his ceiling is.
Okay,
but I could be totally wrong. Maybe he's better than I'm giving him credit for.
I know we saw a lot of, boring Patrick Mahomes last year. It's kind of wild that he's already a last round quarterback pick this year, but I mean, that's injury related too.
Yeah. I mean, they got to stop murdering their own guys there.
It's probably the latest I've ever seen him go so far in a Dawg Bowl.
Okay. But if you want to put him in the empty targets of Hollywood Brown, I don't think that's going to be too popular. I think he's going to be just kind of hanging out by himself, maybe with his tight end. But
yeah, what's our lean here, depending on what happens with this pick?
Oh,
I actually like your order exactly how it is.
Yeah, me too. KC plays a lot of zone. They're going to try to take Brown away.
All right. We could just do the double.
You good with this, Matt?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Goddard was a guy that, at least over in the season long thing, I thought he was, as far as projections go, he was underdrafted for what projections say.
I got so much Dallas Goddard.
Yeah, me too.
Glad to hear it, Beastburf. Yeah, glad the mic sounds better. It's because I left and came back. I always check it before I come in, but then when I left, apparently it switched up my mic input. Could have done Noah Fant.
Kincaid goes. So this is very typical, a little bit different with the tight ends. Warren went maybe a little bit early. Kelsey probably went a lot earlier than normal. But yeah, let's see what our friend, so the Dan who punched a ticket last week, he built out a little Murray Marv. Then he's got Chase Brown and Dobbins, BTJ. So a little mini correlation in the first two picks.
Oh yeah, nice.
I think though Dan is more of a volume sort of guy. I think he maxes it, and he's not as much of a correlation. Just from my, maybe I'm wrong. He can defend himself, but just from my observation of him drafting.
Yep. No, I agree. There's definitely a lot of people that are going a little bit more projection based and making sure they got different combos. Because they're going to 150 this, they want different combos in the first couple rounds.
Portfolio drafter.
Yeah, portfolio drafter. So then we got a nice little Burrow chase with an ETN. So again, we got three different guys building out that game environment of the highest total of the slate. And then one off Wilson, Tetero, and Njoku. Viper did a little Lamar Flowers with a Cook bring back. No, that was last week. I'm sorry, one off Cook. Chuba, Odunze, Johnson.
Oh, we got Tyler Negrini's in here also, their best ball guy from Minnesota.
Oh yeah, nice.
Got Gibbs H.N.
Nice. Gibbs H.N. That's a hot start.
Yeah.
Metcalf, Ricky, May, and Andrews. So a little one-off May.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice. Andrews, hopefully he's a little bit more involved in the offense this week versus last.
So you pointing out that three different teams, kind of mini stacked or touched on that team, kind of in my, the contrarian part of my brain starts as maybe I'm just off that game this week. Just the highest. Maybe I want one guy from the game, but stacking it is you're going to be potentially competing.
Which game are you talking about now?
Cincinnati Jacksonville, the one we just we just built.
Yeah. So you hate the lineup we just built is what you're saying.
No, I'm just saying seeing the environment of the week where three different teams are mini stacking that game. Yeah, you're gonna if that game is another dud again this week, the Cincinnati game is dud again. You're gonna have I was gonna say leg up on the field. I guess that's the best thing. They're not a sponsor of this immediately, but
no, but they do. I do deal with them with the sidekick a little bit.
Yeah.
You guys want to do one more, or you want to call it?
I'd be down for one more.
I'm down.
Let's do it.
And
let's
then
be a little contrarian. Let's get contrarian this one.
Does the Underdog Masterclass say anything about like which game environments to attack, anything like that? I know Mathology, you're the only one who's taken it so far. I've signed up for it. I just have not actually taken the course yet. Is that one of the, or what kind of things do they get into in the Underdog Masterclass?
So it's actually one thing that's really cool is they're updating it like all the time. It's not just one course that is stagnant. Like they're constantly updating and putting new information. Like they're going to start putting week 1 information in there and,
cool.
and continue to update their charts and the historical data. And then Nez, who's, I think as everybody knows, he's one of the best players on the site. He really did. He actually went through his whole entire process of how he builds and how he prepares just for the Dawg Bowl, for the 12-mans, and how he looks at pretty much the Underdog pick'em lobby, and he looks at kind of just fantasy points or just total yards, and that kind of, and then he kind of quickly makes his ranks, and it's really cool. So like he really shows his process, and I'm already starting to utilize some of the things he does and kind of add it to what I like to do, just so my flavor is different. I don't want to be like just copycatting. I always want to be a little bit different, like Matt said, just a little contrarian, because how I like to play, it's like I usually just I either stink kind of like last week, or if it's a week like I'm building for first place and I want to make sure that I'm there. I'm not third, fourth, fifth place.
Yep. Nice. And reminder, use promo code MATH. You can get 10% off the Underdog Masterclass.
Yeah. The link is in the show notes.
Yep.
Yeah. And like I said, I haven't taken it because I don't know. I'm sure I can learn something from it, but I didn't feel the immediate need. But those guys, are awesome. And like the idea of doing this, because, you sit and you try and like learn a new game from scratch on weekly shows and whatever. And like, you're going to not get all the game theory and stuff that you need. You're going to get, I think you're going to get bogged each week in which game environments, which players and all that, but having that available is just an awesome idea. So big shout out to those guys for putting that together.
Yeah. And it's a place where you can really go for, some of the stuff that we definitely utilize on the kind of DraftKings side. Like there's just so much more content built. So it's really the first of it, of like how these games historically have won, and different types of game theories of building to, like not 200 points like DFS, but like, 140. And that goes back to my original question, Matt. What number are we building to? What do you think gets home? Is it 140 today, this week? What do we need?
I think it's going to be again 120.
You think low scoring slate?
Yeah.
So low scoring slate. I mean, I kind of like elite quarterback.
Yeah.
Low scoring slate. You guys like doing Allen here? I like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm game.
He put up 38 last week.
Yeah. He'd be going 1-1 if his game was on the main slate last week. This week, people would be drafting him 1-1. So,
yeah.
I kind of like to do quarterback and then hopefully get a high projected running back here.
Where you were off of Allen because of his schedule, to some extent, right, Math? Weren't you? Or sorry, you had Lamar ahead of Allen for best ball because of the schedule. Okay. Who do you like
here? You guys
here?
want to do Kyron or BTJ? But again, it's that one off. What do you guys think? We're going to get boxed out of running back if we don't get one here.
Yeah, if you say you want to do elite running back, I'm fine with Kyron. Do you want to stack with Cook, or do you think that's too negatively correlated?
I think that's nice if you think it is going to be a low scoring slate, but I like Kyron too.
What do you think, guys? Kyron or
let's go Kyron.
I kind of like that shout out too. I definitely want to build one of those. I think you can get it pretty much any draft you want with Allen. So I definitely want to do that at some point in time. I like that shout.
Yeah. What do you think about I think it's been, somebody mentioned Keon Coleman in the chat at some point. I did watch the second half of that game. Is is he going to be a focal point? Was that a one-off thing, or what is the kind of analysis on that game?
So I listened to Matt Harmon on Reception Perception today, and he's running completely different routes than last year. He already charted the game. A lot more comebacks, a lot more curl routes, a lot more kind of quarterback favor routes where his target share should stay where it was last game. He's not just running nines, deep ball stuff. I think he's a big part of the offense.
Interesting. So my instinct is just looking at the fantasy points data put out some information on like his separation rate and his win rates, and they were really low. So like he was not by their metrics, not actually very good, but maybe if he just has a much better role, like it maybe doesn't matter as much, like you said. So maybe I don't think that he's going to put up the 1,500 and 10 touchdown season that Liam was questioning.
No.
But maybe.
No. Yeah. Those underlying metrics will never look good. He's not a separator. He's just a big target. He's going to catch the ball away from his body because of those big, long arms. Like he's not going to look good in those underlying metrics. It's just like how they're utilizing him. He's going to get targets. So that's kind of
what do you think his ceiling is? We talked about Ricky Pearsall being maybe a wide receiver 2 is his ceiling. Where do you think you would put Coleman's?
Where we're definitely in best ball. You're hoping for flex, hitting your lineup periodically. Yeah. He's not going to be a 5th or 6th, 7th round draft pick next year.
Yeah.
But I think where we're drafting him is fair value.
Yep.
Pick 100.
Yep.
Okay. So that kind of leads me then back to your original question, putting Allen and Cook together, those. I feel like I'm fine with that in this contest. Because a lot of people are going to put Josh Allen with Coleman now, and then you're getting different on that, and that's an offense that is spread around.
Yeah, my reason for Lamar kind of over Allen on season long, it's because it's the schedule by the Bills. We saw what happens when Allen gets pushed. He becomes Superman and he scores 38 points. What we're going to see this week is he's not going to score 38. He's going to be probably more in the mid 20s because you really need the Jets to push him. Are the Jets going to be able to push him? We're going to play it like they are. Hopefully we get, Wilson here. Yeah. And we'll play kind of that game environment that Allen needs to go nuts. Because Wilson's or Breece Hall, he's already gone, so he's out of the player pool for us. But they're scoring points. The Jets are scoring points.
Yep, I like it.
He'll probably be taken right before our pick.
Yeah, Schmo's listening probably.
I thought Chad was going to take him because he's got James Cook.
Yeah,
so we survived that at least.
Well, yeah, that's a good conversation. I like that. I like how you got me onto that Allen Cook pairing. I think that's hot. I like that.
Yeah, because traditionally you think, I need a pass catching running back to put him with the quarterback, but I think if
you guys good with Wilson,
I think there's plenty of scenarios where that makes sense.
Tyler Warren, a part of my best ball exposures that I regret immediately was I was largely fading Tyler Warren. I wrote him up as being one of the players I was my biggest fades on DraftKings at pick 79, and he just looked like he's going to be awesome. He just looks like they are going to use him. My big concern there was the usage. I thought was maybe not going to be there for Tyler Warren. It looks like the usage is probably going to be there. He seems like a pretty big focal point week 1. I'm still not 100% like it's going to fail, but doesn't feel good right now. Feels like the fade is a bad idea.
Kind of pick our poison here. I mean, I don't know if we want to go with a Kyron Adams pairing, kind of in a lower scoring game. I kind of like Travion Hill. Yeah. Anyone that jumps out of the screen.
I'm not going to draft Tyreek Hill ever this year. So if you're in my room, you will know that. But Travion Henderson, I like that. To get a piece against this Miami defense.
Yeah, I agree. And it could be, we could do a little mini with Waddle. I don't think Waddle's going in a lot of drafts. I don't know if he is. I shouldn't. It's kind of more speculation. No, he's way down at 70, so
Nice.
he's kind of a lower owned guy. Shaheed, Boutte, Tillman, Hopkins. I guess someone's taking Bryce Oliver.
I don't even know who that is.
Someone's getting the Dawg Bowl thrown out.
Yeah, I don't know who that is either. This can't be true, can it? Mike Robb says, I take it outside of a Halloween decoration, Mathology doesn't have anything flannel. Is that true?
Oh, I have a lot of flannel. I'm a Vermonter.
Yeah, I assume like Vermont.
Yeah. I'm in summer mode, Neil. I'm getting ready to go play some beach volleyball. I got my work shirt on, but yeah, it's beach volleyball night with the boys after this.
Nice.
Gonna have a couple cold ones. Hopefully win a couple games.
Nice. Love it. But yeah, we'll get to flannel season soon enough.
Do we want to stack Allen? What are you guys' thoughts on that? Maybe
AZ Cards in the chat's been talking about Palmer. I think he mentioned that earlier too. Everybody going to be going with Coleman. I'm probably not.
Seems a little thin.
Yeah.
Did Shakir go already?
No. So by Fantasy Life's projections, this is Dwayne stuff. They're running his models and stuff. He's got Shakir ceiling at 21, and he's got Coleman at 20, and then Palmer's way down at 14.
Yeah. My trouble there is that those are the ceilings, but that team to me just screams median for all of the people involved. Like,
those are relatively low ceilings, right? Like,
yeah. But they only got them like 5 or 6 target a piece. They just have the pie really spread out.
Right.
Yeah.
Same thing here. Kincaid, they got him at projected 4.5 targets for 40 yards.
I'd be much more likely to throw the tight end with him. Just generally how I draft.
Just assume it's a tight end doesn't matter week.
Yeah, or he is, 2 touchdowns go to him.
Sure. Did he go already, Kincaid?
No, he's a last round pick.
Yeah, okay. He's part of that blue wall at the end.
Yeah. Njoku going pretty early.
I will admit I just learned the name Harold Fannin a few days ago when I did not watch like any content this year. Sorry, Neil. But I just happened to tune into Pete's like end of the year stream because I had a light day at work, and I was like, I've never heard this guy's name. So then my question is, after week 1, where are you guys thinking about Harold Fannin and his role, and what's that mean for Njoku?
I'm loving it. It is awesome for me because he is one of my highest drafted tight ends who was not taken in every draft. I think it's real. I think it's going to be there. I don't think again it hurts Njoku a little bit, but I don't think it's like I think he'll still have his spike weeks. I guess. Do you see it differently, Math?
Yeah.
I also have not looked closely at the data.
Let's make our pick real quick. We'll talk Fannin. We could do a little mini with Kyron with Ridley here, or if you guys want to do Coleman, we got Devontae Smith, we got Hollywood Brown. We could chase Jerry Judy's ceiling. What do you guys want to do?
I like the Ridley call.
I do too. Yeah.
Ridley? Build out that game. Let's do it. And then you want to stack up Kincaid, or do we want to go somewhere else?
I would go Kincaid 1 probably. Yeah. Strange 2 maybe. Or we find some other stuff.
75% of the time I'm just going to take
Yeah.
The tight end that goes with my QB.
Yeah, I agree. So it's good. We got a nice, really betting on 2 games here. That's it. I know.
Chat says I have like 16% Fannin and feel underexposed. I think I have it pulled up. I have 15% Harold Fannin. Well, that's by fees, actually. I've got only 11% Harold Fannin, 15% by fees. So excited about that because he was, at least especially early, people were not drafting Fannin. But yeah, also wish I had drafted even more.
Yeah, he's looking like he's going to be a thing. So I'm pulling up the utilization report by Fantasy Life right now. Browns, tight end. So Fannin got 65% of the routes, but he got 22% of the targets. So he was like a focal point of these kind of underneath because he has a shorter A dot of 6.3, where David Njoku is still on the field. He's got 85% of the routes. So it's a lot of 12. They're playing a ton of 12, but he's only getting 12% of targets, and his A dot is downfield more at 8. So they both have roles, but Fannin has the layup roles. He's getting all the easy stuff.
Yeah. Pretty nice floor for a tight end.
Especially if they're drafting in the 18th round,
Yeah.
He's going to hit your lineup at that position that we're all, especially if you're a Kittle drafter right now, you're like,
yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah. It's such a bummer. Kittle on air.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to miss him for 4. He's going to come back. It's going to be a ramp-up period. He's not going to be in production mode. He's going to just be in playing mode, and you're not going to see that ceiling until probably the end of the season, unfortunately.
Jennings might be here too, right? Isn't he still like questionable?
Yes.
So.
Yeah, they're all banged up right now. Have to really keep an eye on. Let's see where Purdy went on this one.
Not at all.
He didn't even go. So Purdy's kind of staying away. Ricky's fallen to the 4th now, where he probably was going there last time. But I like this team a lot, guys. I think we built a shipper.
Excellent. Yeah, the what there did do the KC stack that. Yeah, I might be looking to have a team like that too.
Yep.
Now that you just like to copy other people's lineups is what we're learning today. You just copy the winner from last week. Now you're just going to copy the what.
Well, I mean, it's not so much that, it's just I have combinations that I want because I do a limited amount of entries each week. Like there's certain things that I want, either just for the fun of it or because I think it's a good stack that week. And part of what I was chasing that really ramped me up on Sunday morning, I woke up, the dogs woke me up early to go outside, and I made the mistake of getting into draft, and I was like, oh, I'm not going back to bed. And then I started chasing a combo that I wanted. I wanted a Puka Collins combo at the end. I was getting early picks or like middle picks that I couldn't get it. So I kept like, I want this damn team. And then that didn't work.
I do the exact same thing. I think it's kind of something. 8 of the 12 here are 1-2-2-1s. So very common construction build there versus. So if you want to get a little different, maybe a 1-1-3-1 on the contrarian side of things.
Keith there just said, Keith, appreciate you joining for the draft. You went 1-1-3-1, so a little bit different.
Yeah, he's got a little Lamar naked.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The Fannin, grab the Fannin.
Yeah,
Hunter, Tedderoy, Higgins, Hall, good team. And then draft fellow Dawg Bowl qualifier last year. Good guy. Hopefully he can maybe join us in a couple of weeks. I've been egging him on. We'll see. Gibbs, Thomas, Pollard, Ricky, May, and Henry. So there's that May Henry backstack that Matt likes to do.
Fun.
Yeah.
Some nice teams.
Good teams.
It's a tough competition because it's like feels like it's mostly Sharks drafting it. Would you agree with that? Like I feel like 80% of the lineups, at least in the Dawg Bowl, are going to be like regular grinders.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think, that's why like Matt was saying earlier, take a screenshot and really look at the boards and look at what people are building and maybe tweak it a little bit to your style of how you want to play it. If it's projection based, if it's game environment based, you can learn a lot from just entering one draft board. And historically, it happened this week. I think it was a one and done. One guy entered it once and he got in, with the right combo.
You know what? I need to shout out something. First of all, he says he made the Dawg Bowl off one bullet last year. If anyone needs motivation, that's pretty awesome. Yeah. But I need to shout out Go Easy Guard says, if anyone qualifies for the Dawg Bowl on a Flannelverse stream, you must wear a flannel at the Dawg Bowl. First of all, agree with that. Love that. But also, I haven't said it yet on one of these streams. I'm having hats made. They were supposed to be here 2 weeks ago now. They're going to look sort of like this one. It's actually like the same structure as this one, except for with the Flannelverse logo. So Flannelverse hats being made. If you win at least $1,000 in DFS or Underdog drafts, use the Flannelverse logo and then tweet at either myself or Mathology or Flannelversity on Twitter. If you tweet at us with $1,000 win with a screenshot using the Flannelverse avatar, obviously can't on Underdog, just don't need the avatar for Underdog. I'll send you a hat. You just need to send me your address. So just wanted to shout that out, that is if you give us a shout out, we will send you a free Flannelverse hat. I think they're going to look cool. We'll see.
Yeah, I can't wait to get mine, Neil. I'm going to rock it every day.
Yeah, still don't have it. So yeah, but soon enough.
I just to jump on with the one lineup thing. I do have to shout out. I met a guy last year, Dan, his name was, and he didn't know what contest he was entering. He had no idea what he was entering. He was on a road trip with 3 kids, and his wife was driving, and he ended up making like the first pick, and then his kids started acting up, and so he autoed the rest of the draft.
Jesus.
So he had to go. He's like, "What did I win?" So if you need motivation to just throw 1 or 2 entries in, just to have the chance out there, it's like buying into your office lottery pool, right? You just
exactly. You just have
that dream.
And yeah, if you have that dream and you like what you're building or you're doing, and you want to learn a little bit more, the description's in the link. There's a link in the description below. Click it, type in math, you get 10% off. A really sharp class to help you, B plus EV, or it's a minus EV contest, but you can hopefully get some of your money back on other contests too, such as the battle royales or the 2-game slate, the 6-person slate. So take advantage of it if you like what you're seeing and what you're hearing here on the Flannelverse.
Love that. I did not know that Math is already 15th in the marathon. By the way, that's kind of insane and very fitting.
I didn't either.
That's pretty great.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Long way to go. Long way to go.
Keith says he can also vouch for the Underdog Masterclass. Yeah, worth checking out. Promo code math. Anything else from you guys that you want to shout out before we get out of here?
The pennant is out, the baseball playoff contest, which is absolutely my favorite contest of the year.
So, you're going to do any content on it?
Yeah, we'll be making some shows about that over on Stacking Dingers, and I will try and find time on a Friday night here to do some drafts on the sheep seeds. So
nice. Very cool.
Thanks a ton for joining us, Matt.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Every time you're in the room, I'm watching you. What's he doing?
Yeah.
Same to you.
Sure.
Neil, I don't see you in the rooms too much.
I like I said, I did 2 drafts outside of the 2 that we did on stream last week. I'm just too busy during it. Like, I would love to just do a ton of these drafts, battle royales. I just don't have time throughout the week. I'm so busy, but I'll try to get some in.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we will get out of here then. Appreciate both of you taking the time here. Appreciate everybody in chat. I'll be back doing some content on probably not till Thursday on this channel with all my showdown streams that I'll be doing in the morning with Adam, breaking it down. We can troll him about Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, and then in the evening I'll be back for my solo show on Thursday. So hopefully you'll join me for that. And then tomorrow night on the Fantasy Point channel, I'll also be doing cage match. Anyway, that's what I've got coming up. Thanks, guys. We'll catch you later.